An action thriller directed by one of the best Bond directors, starring a former Bond as well as Jackie Chan. Count me in. Let's talk about it. So in The Foreigner, Jackie Chan is a London business owner with a mysterious past, and his daughter is killed in a politically motivated terrorist attack. This causes him to try and track down who's responsible, and it leads him to Pierce Brosnan, a politician whose past probably has ties to the people responsible. So while Pierce Brosnan is trying to track down, figure out who's responsible for what, Jackie Chan is trying to get those names from him, and this gives us our movie. I don't want to give you too much more than that because that sets up the plot in this movie that has a lot of red herrings, misdirections, twists and turns all throughout while providing some action. Now, to set your expectations properly, Pierce Brosnan is probably more the lead of this film than Jackie Chan, though Jackie Chan has a very strong presence throughout the entire film. The story probably is a little bit more focused on Pierce Brosnan than I realized going into it, and the movie's very much a mix of kind of Patriot Games with kind of the political terrorist side of things, as well as Taken, the revenge side of things, as well as First Blood, kind of this mysterious guy with skills in the jungle kind of taking people out. That's the movie that you're in for, and I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. So let's talk about the good. Right off the bat, you got to talk about the performances, both from Jackie Chan, who we're used to seeing as kind of the smiley, happy, jokey kind of guy. This is a dead serious performance. He cracks a couple smiles in the beginning of the movie, and then from out there on out, it's like a serious. It is a different Jackie Chan than we've seen before. And even just physically speaking, he's supposed to be playing an older man, so he carries himself as a tired older man that has a set of skills, just like kind of in the Taken movies. He's got that set of skills. It can come out when it has to, but he can get tired because he's an old man. The flip side of that, you got Pierce Brosnan as this very intense politician who's got a past, who's got a history, that's trying to keep all these pieces together, and he's not very happy about what's going on, whether that's Jackie Chan, the bombing, the people around him, and so he's very intense at times in trying to pull everything together. So you get two great leading performances in this movie kind of pulling it together. From there, let's move on to the plot, and it's got a lot more going to it than you expect from a movie like this. It's very complicated, and it's trying to understand the politics of Ireland and London, trying how these different places kind of tie together, and the history of kind of tension in that part of the world that plays into the plot line and the different groups and the different factions. And so it's a lot more complicated, and there's the mystery of who's responsible for all of this. What does Pierce Brosnan know and not know? And so it kind of keeps you intrigued throughout as you're trying to figure out what's going on and who is responsible. And so while you get the action that you want, you also have a very invested plot that you actually care about and that's interesting and that has payoffs all throughout. From there, let's move on to the action. Now, it's not as action-packed as you might think it's going to be with comparisons to movies like Taken or First Blood. It's the mix of all three of those movies, and so it's not just this full-blown action movie. At times, it shifts heavily into the plot-heavy parts of it. But when action happens, very nicely choreographed, not in like super slick Jackie Chan 30 years ago, but it feels kind of grounded. If there was an older man that knew how to handle himself and was a scrapper that was desperate to kind of take some guys out, you see that. You see some of the action and the way it plays out of very much First Blood type action. I don't want to expand upon that. Just watch the movie and you'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen First Blood. In other parts, you see Jackie Chan as a guy that has some mysterious past that gives him some skills, just doing some clever things in the way he does things. It's just a lot of fun to watch. And so the movie keeps you invested on several different levels throughout the entire movie. And one final huge praise I have for this movie is that it's not a Hollywood movie. It's a Chinese and British production that doesn't try to cater to American audiences. It assumes you have certain knowledge, kind of British history and kind of tensions there, as well as their slang, or at least it assumes you can follow along with what they're doing. It doesn't water it down, and I very much appreciated that about the film. With all that said, let's move on to the bad. I don't have any big issues here, but the movie can be a little bit uneven at times. And what I mean by that is that it's kind of two movies in one. You've got the Pierce Brosnan political thriller, and you have the Jackie Chan Taken First Blood movie. And when it shifts between the two, sometimes it's pretty stark contrast between the two, and you spend a lot of time in one of those movies in the second half of the second act, and you miss the other movie a little bit. And it feels a little bit, perhaps if they trimmed maybe 10 minutes off the movie, it would have meshed a little bit better, but because it goes so far in one direction, it doesn't mesh as well, and it starts to feel a lot more like two movies as opposed to one consistent movie. That's really my biggest issue with the movie. Overall, I had a great time with it. I enjoyed both aspects of the movie, all the performances. There's some great action in there. For me, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. And if I'm being honest, I really hope you go see this movie because I love kind of these mid-budget action thrillers. I want more movies like this. I've been saying this all year long because we've gotten a lot of them. So I've been very happy with movies this year. And I hope you go see this one also because I want a big revival for Jackie Chan in American cinema. And I want a big revival for Pierce Brosnan. And I want Martin Campbell to get more appreciation as a director. I think he's made the top of my list as the most underappreciated director, I think, right now on my list. So please go see this movie. Make a lot of movies. So all in all, I want these guys to be celebrated and get more opportunities to do stuff like this. But how about you? What did you think about it? Tell me down below in the comment section. Also your thoughts on Martin Campbell, Pierce Brosnan, Jackie Chan. I might be a little bit biased on this one, just a little bit. Back in the 90s, I actually had a Jackie Chan fan page up on the internet. Had a list of all of his injuries. You could check out his filmography and my reviews of the different movies. It is a terrible website. Just from looking at it, you can tell I was not the best at certain things back then. But so I might be biased to like The Foreigner just a little bit. If you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos, but the key thing is I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about movies with you, so join me down in the comment section. Let's have a lively discussion, and as always, thank you so much for watching.